know, it's crazy watching you because I know we all watch you like every single night, and we know you so well. We know you so well, and then like we're all new faces to you.
That's why I love it. I love seeing you guys, and so that I could kind of visualize it when I'm talking to you guys.
Would you ever consider running for president?
There's pause.
No, I just, you know what I want? I don't want to run. I want someone who's a badass progressive, who doesn't mind throwing punches. That's not a bad idea. I'm not saying Klinsky versus Chuck Schumer. I'm not saying it. I didn't say a word.
Actually, funnily enough, I wanted to tell you, you turned my 50-year-old lifelong Republican mom into a progressive. She got sick with cancer about 6 years ago, and she's a teacher, a 30-year veteran teacher, you know, done everything right. And even though she has health insurance, she couldn't pay for the medical bills. We had to sell her home, had to downsize because of the medical debt. And it was that was her big political awakening, where she was a lifelong Republican and decided, you know, they're not the ones fighting for me, and she's now a big Medicare for all person, advocate.
Do you remember if she had any kind of like moment of epiphany?
It was probably the 2016 election was the big one, because she's always been pretty socially liberal but fiscally conservative, kind of that mindset. But it was her sickness and Trump that was the political awakening moment right there.
So now she's for Medicare for all. Is she progressive across the board?
Across the board. Now it's full Bernie. I wish she was here, but she's sick right now.
We're winning them over one at a time.
And she's a huge fan of you.
I like her even better now. Look, guys, seriously, this is why the media blockade of progressives is so important. Because if the message gets out, you know, if your mom hears it, Danny's progressive already, but if your mom hears it, goes, oh yeah. I mean, that's like literally what I've been hearing time after time after time, here and everywhere I go. Oh, really? See, he converted her. This guy's a conversion machine.
I drove 1,000 miles to go from Boca to Washington, D.C. to March, and just establish my political identity, to speak out and to give myself a voice and to hear what other people are going through. It's the outrage that we have to deal with a lot of these issues.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for giving me a voice and establish my political identity for a good reason. And I'm thankful that they come with this.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
I love everything that you're doing, man. Every piece of it helps. So we don't win on day one, but we can't win if folks like you aren't doing that drive, aren't getting involved, aren't telling everybody about it. Yeah. So I love that you did that, and I love that you're here.
Any time where it's like you feel like maybe like too going over the line as far as like your outrage goes, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're just using your voice and trying to bring a positive light, there's nothing wrong with that. And you send that message to us to get involved and to be a part of it. So I'm just thankful that you guys are doing what you're doing. Just stay strong, too strong.
That's awesome.
Got more word of Bernie Sanders, though, through watching Bill Maher. And then Bernie Sanders ultimately led me to the Young Turks. And now I'm a, paid subscriber.
When did the turn come to, hey, maybe I should get involved, maybe I should vote?
Really the turn came to hearing people that were actually speaking to me, where it felt like they were really going to fight for something that I actually cared for. Where in the past, to me, it seemed like there were so many one-issue politicians that everyone just got behind that thing they supported, that to me still didn't mean anything to me because it wasn't going to change anything. And then started seeing whether it was local politicians that were gaining momentum in the grassroots, where 2016 was when I first voted, and I've never missed an election because of this, really.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. All right, good to see you, brother.
Aquí estamos protestando para el Green New Deal, que queremos eso. También queremos College for All, ahí lo puede ver. Y el Sign the Pledge, que lo que queremos es que los candidatos firmen un pledge que tiene en TYT para proteger los derechos de nosotros, los derechos de los ciudadanos americanos, los derechos de los inmigrantes, los derechos de los estudiantes y los derechos de toda la gente que trabaja y que quiere echar para adelante y no puede porque el sistema lo sigue poniendo abajo. I hope they don't twist that out because it's Telemundo here.
I teach critical thinking and ethics and philosophy.
Philosophy. There's no bigger fan of critical thinking than me.
Of course, absolutely. That's why I showed you in my class.
Oh, okay, good.
Several videos of you in my class for a long time, so I've been a big fan.
I've been like a member of Republican family. I've been like a member and a viewer since I was like 12. I'm 18 now, so I've been here for like 6 years. I was like sneaking like PayPal payments to you guys from my like dad's credit card for like
You
the past,
probably
like, 5 years.
shouldn't have done that, but
You know what? At the end of the day, it was $5 a piece. I really don't mind, but I just really want to say thank you. You really changed my life.
your parents are from India. So were they conservative because of like traditionally conservative Indian family?
Yeah, and my dad was, you know, very hardcore, like American dream, and that kind of manifested in a Republican way where it was like individualism. And, you know, I'm slowly getting that kind of grinded out of the system, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They view you sometimes, you know, I kind of put you on the TV sometimes, so we're getting there.
Well, they paid for it, so they might as well see it.
They don't know that far yet. They don't know that far.
They're about to. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, what do you think? Are we getting through them at all?
They're starting to open up. They're definitely for Medicare for all. They're definitely opening up more on the social side. I've gotten them so far to Elizabeth Warren. Let's see if we can get the final push to a Bernie Sanders. But
I wonder if they'd be for college for all, because that's all about the American dream. Because that's my dad and me. We're all, I mean, same kind of background, but from Turkey instead of India, and huge believers in the American dream. But that's what college for all is.
exactly, it's definitely more of that like Eastern mindset where it's definitely like college for all, education super important. That's definitely a big issue that's converted them. That's actually why they started with Warren, and that's why I actually really appreciate Elizabeth Warren, because she's at least that kind of entry door into the progressive movement.
So what we've concluded here is that Elizabeth Warren is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
No, she's wonderfully progressive. So if you're already at Warren, you might already be addicted.
I've been called the young Cenk before at school.
Oh, is
I'm
that
a little
right?
bit of a convert.
Oh, are
a
you
little bit
kidding?
loud, a little bit angry, very,
Okay.
very hard-headed, but I'm out there, so.
In 16, I was libertarian my whole life. I started watching it. It had a little bit of Republican leanings, and it just won me over bit by bit as I started realizing how much of it is due to corruption and the money that's going into and where the money's chasing around. And there are very few people who are honest.
Look, I didn't know people were going to come and tell these stories, right? So, and I was just greeting people, but you're all telling amazing stories. So how did you find us in the first place? Do you remember?
Yeah, YouTube. I was just flicking around watching them, and I was actually watching them. Having been a libertarian my whole life, I was watching it almost like a bit of a schadenfreude, if you know what I mean. And so, but then eventually I started listening to it, and it started making so much more sense, especially when you got into the corruption of the Citizens United and the impact that is having on and how few people know about it, but you're spreading the word. Just that you call people out on the BS, and when you point out how phony and how much they lie and how much is being just how much lies are being filtered through to you, and the impact of like Citizens United and super PACs and how much that's controlling, you know, our politics today. That's what really got me going in your direction.
All right, so Walter, at this point, would you go as far as saying you're a progressive?
Yes, I'm supporting Sanders right now. I mean, I'm open to the other progressives right now, but I'm leaning towards Sanders. I'm definitely changed. It's like a complete 180 to go from libertarian, you would think, to what Bernie's referring to as democratic socialism. But it's really everyone works with a mixed economy, and it's really just where you draw the line.
Walter, American hero. Look at this. Okay, thank you, brother.
Thank you.